I'll click it. Oh, I didn't even know you could do that. So we're all right. 3, 2, 1. Yo, what is going on, everyone? My name is Nick, or the Today I'm joined by my good friend Cody Cook. His name on YouTube, same as the name I just said, Cody Cook. And on Twitter, what is your at?
D Prodigy, so DP, and then Prodigy at the end. So you can find me there on Twitter and then on the website, which I'll add the website also in the description below.
Awesome. So make sure you guys check him out. We have been friends on Twitter for a long time. We've been trying to link up and record something, but I'm typically pretty busy, and it's tough to record sometimes during the season. But now we're in the off season. Maybe we'll be able to link up again after this. This should be a fun time. And make sure you guys subscribe to him. Obviously, down below, he makes a ton of DFS content, which is something that I don't do. So if you're into that type of stuff, you're into basketball, golf, all that, he does it. So do you got anything to say here before we just dive in here and start talking?
So like your usual term, it's going to be a banger. So definitely check out this video. We're going over free agent signings. Yeah. So like I said, I'm more into the DFS aspect, but I also do season long. So that's where I'm kind of looking at from my standpoint, kind of in this video also, is how this is going to affect teams in the DFS area, like kind of the fantasy sports area. So that's what I mainly do. I do all sports, UFC, PGA, all of them you can probably think of. I do them. So but yeah, man, I'm excited to break down these these signings and the rumors that we're trying to talk about in the video.
Awesome. So let's get into it, guys. Make sure you check him out. So the first one, we're going to start today, the 17th. So if you guys are watching this, something magically happens after 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, then we are obviously not going to be able to talk about it because we can't go to the future. So we begin with Kyle Van Noy saying on Twitter that he signs with the Patriots. He was there for a while. He ended up leaving. He came to my Dolphins, and then we cut him, and then he signs a 3-year deal worth up to $13.2 million with the Patriots. What are your thoughts on how this will help out the Patriots, and what are your thoughts overall on just how much money the Patriots have spent?
Yeah, it's been crazy. So they've been kind of making this it's been in the making for a while, and we know how the Patriots are. Like, basically, they don't want to sign anybody in the offseason, but until they have one boom offseason, and this is the boom one. This is obviously how it's going to go. They bolstered the offense and the defense up. I wish they didn't sign Cam Newton. That's the only signing I wish that didn't happen. But defensive-wise, this is going to be a monster defense for the Patriots once again. I'll be interested to see how this plays out for the defense. And then, like I said, in season long, I wouldn't mind drafting them, honestly. Now with Kyle Van Noy back, he's going to be pretty well on this line. I'm pretty excited about this signing. What about you, man?
Yeah, no, I love this signing. They added Judon as well on defense. Yep. I mean, we'll probably talk about him a little more later, but I mean, their defense is just, last year was a complete dumpster fire. Now it's looking like just the old Patriots defense where Tom Brady didn't have to do much. Obviously now it's Cam Newton, but still Van Noy, 3 years, $13.2 million. That is 100% a bargain for them. Van Noy loves Bill Belichick. There's not too much to dive deep into this, but yeah, like you said, for fantasy purposes, I'm not necessarily someone who drafts a defense to keep all season, but if the Patriots have good matchups, they're easily a team that you can pick up on a week-to-week basis and be pretty happy with.
Exactly.
So the next guy up here is, well, we'll just kind of brush over some of these guys. Rashad Higgins resigns with the Browns.
Not much to say.
1 year, $2.3 million. It's nothing much. I mean, he's a good wide receiver, but unless Odell's gone, then Rashad Higgins is pretty useless, I would say, for fantasy purposes. You got anything on him?
It's just a prove-it deal, in my opinion. Like, what can you do for a year? If you think you can do better, show me why you can do better. That's all I'm imagining with the signing.
Yeah, the Browns fans seem to really love him on Twitter. I don't really get too much love for him because, in my opinion, he just hasn't been all that good. But like you said, it's definitely just a prove-it deal, 1 year. And maybe they'll pay him next year if he's does any good. So the next guy, instead of a prove-it deal, we got an old man here on a 1-year contract. Emmanuel Sanders leaves the Saints. He signs with the Buffalo Bills. Now, do you think that he will have any fantasy relevance in Buffalo, or do you think it'll kind of just be like in New Orleans where you just hope you play him 1 week and you just hope he hits the moon? Otherwise, he's just terrible.
So in my opinion, I think he's more on their team as like kind of a coach sort of role, if that makes sense, meaning like he's going to try to be the veteran on the team with a Cole Beasley and with a Stephon Diggs, are both younger players. So they're going to try to implement where that's the dude I'm going to look up to. And Emmanuel Sanders, I want to learn from him, kind of sort of that deal, kind of like a player coach. I think he'll have some boom weeks. We've seen it happen before. I mean, you have Josh Allen as your quarterback. I don't see why not. You can't have a good fantasy season. So, I mean, we saw that, like you said, with Cole Beasley. Look what happened with him. So I think this is a good deal for them. I like it. It's cheap. Why not sign him, in my opinion?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I don't necessarily think he's definitely not a guy I'm looking to draft, but
No,
in DFS, you just,
no,
you see them playing a game where you think they're going to score a million points, you can just throw him in. Or if
yeah,
Cole Beasley is hurt or Diggs are hurt, then I think
yeah,
Sanders could have some real big games. So, next guy up here, the Vikings signed Patrick Peterson. Obviously, a big move from the Cardinals. According to Twitter, all the Cardinals fans seem to hate Patrick Peterson, which
yeah.
is very surprising of me. I guess he just wasn't as good last year. I didn't really notice. 1 year, $10 million. The Vikings defense was, in my opinion, trash.
Yeah.
They're very young, so I really like this move. What do you think?
It's similar to the move of Emmanuel Sanders, in my opinion. Kind of the same situation. They need him on defense, obviously. I mean, he's getting older. If you think he can do well, he'll do well. I mean, he has flashed some upside. We know he's a lockdown corner when he wants to be, at least. It's kind of the mentality with him. So in my mind, it's not a bad move for 10 million, in my opinion. I think they needed him. What about you?
Yeah, I like the move. I think the Vikings need just someone who's older. They have one
Yeah.
of the youngest defenses, I believe, in the NFL. If not, I think the Jaguars are the youngest. They're one of the youngest. The Vikings defense was terrible, and if you have a game manager quarterback like Kirk Cousins, you need a defense that is going to be able to do at least something, so that he doesn't have to throw the ball a million times. They try to limit it with running with Dalvin Cook. So I really do like this signing. The next thing here, the Raiders ended up dealing their center Rodney Hudson to the Cardinals. The other move of them getting or sending away Gabe Jackson to the Seahawks to me wasn't all that big of a move, but
Yeah.
Hudson is a really good lineman. The Raiders are now legitimately without every single lineman they had last year. They had obviously all of them left. This was the last guy, Gabe Jackson, I believe. They traded him. Rodney Hudson's gone now. I don't know what they're doing because Derek Carr is not the kind of quarterback that can play behind a terrible offensive line. This is very good news, though, for the Cardinals. What do you think?
He's going to get hit and he's going to basically be stretched off the field in one of these games, in my opinion. There's no way he can stay behind that line anymore. We know he can't run. We know how he's looked against an awful or behind an awful line. There's no way this will happen for him, in my opinion. It's not.
Yeah, and I think Carr's a good player, but like I just feel bad for him. Unless they can bring a bunch of guys back in, like he's just a dead man out there. Maybe they just want Mariota to be the guy, so they're gonna purposely hurt him.
Right. Something like that.
The next addition was Ryan Suckup signed to the Bucks. Obviously, that's like kickers obviously matter somewhat. He was a pretty decent kicker, but I don't feel like we need to dive into this. Do you think Suckup's still pretty good? Do you think he's worth 12 million?
But for the Bucks, this is not a bad signing, in my opinion. They needed a kicker. This is not bad for them, at least.
Yeah, it's definitely good. It's just not super relevant when we're talking about the other guys. Next guy up here, defensive back, resigns with the Cowboys. That is Jordan Lewis. He gets a 3-year deal worth up to $16.5 million. To me, this guy is nothing really special, but Cowboys also have really a terrible defense. So it makes sense to just keep some of the guys on a cheaper deal. 3 years, $16.5 million is not all that much money.
I mean, living in Texas, this is not a great signing. I can't do it with him. He's awful. He gets beat every single route. I don't like it. We're moving on. Just move on.
Okay. All right. Now, maybe the guy that will be beating him. Washington grabs free agent wide receiver Curtis Samuel, 3 years, $34.5 million. Samuel played for Ron Rivera, obviously, and offensive coordinator Scott Turner with the Panthers. So familiar name. Curtis Samuel, to me, is one of the most underrated wide receivers in the NFL. He was the number 2 guy until they brought in Robbie Anderson in Carolina. He's very good. 3 years, $34.5 million is definitely worth it. Especially, I guess we can just talk about him now with Fitzpatrick. This is just an excellent move, in my opinion. What do you think?
Yeah, I really like this move for him. Like the familiarity with the offense, that's going to be a key. Him being with Fitzpatrick, I think a decent QB. I think that's going to go well. I know how everybody hates on Fitzpatrick here and there, but then again, you know how he was in Miami. I mean, Fitzmagic happened, and so I like him a lot. Curtis Samuel, the deal is underrated in my opinion. I think this is a great move for them. I think him and Terry McLaurin on both ends of the offense is going to be great for Fitzpatrick, and I like that a lot. What about you, man?
Yeah, I love it. I mean, was kind of getting a bit screwed by the fact that Cam Sims, Steve Sims, I believe they had 2 guys named Sims. They're just nobodies out there. Curtis Samuel is a real good player with Logan Thomas. This whole offense should be very good. Obviously, Dallas should be able to win the division, but if Washington's defense plays good and Fitzpatrick is really good, I think they could be a playoff team. Considering Fitzpatrick's never made the playoffs, I kind of hope they make it.
Right.
So next guy up, Kenny Golladay will visit with the Giants. This obviously not really too big of news, but I've read online NFL rumors. For some reason, this page gets a lot of hate, but they're right on about everything. They said that he would sign to the Giants. He's visiting the Giants. They're probably Kenny Golladay who only cares about money. If he didn't only care about money, he wouldn't sign with the Giants. So I'm going to say it's probably a done deal, but we'll probably have to see like tomorrow or the next day. What do you think about Golladay and the Giants?
I mean, it's either you play with Jared Goff or you're going to play with Daniel Jones. Who would you rather play for? Honestly, that's how I look at it for him. Exactly. Like literally,
If I was him, I think I'd like Goff better. But
yeah.
I don't know.
That's what I would imagine too. So that shows you how much he wants the money, in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%. The next one, the Eagles released Alshon Jeffrey. Nothing too big there. That guy hasn't played. I don't think he played last year. He's an injury-prone wide receiver. He was good when he was on the Bears like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Really nothing to talk about there. You got anything on Jeffrey?
We saw this coming.
No?
Like everybody knew this was happening. This isn't new, really. Everybody knew who's going to get released at the end of the season.
Okay, yeah, I agree. Next guy up, Gerald Everett, who's just an all-right tight end, is staying in the West, and he moves from the Rams to the Seahawks. I like this move personally because I think he's better than what they have, even though I do like Will Dissly. The Seattle tight end is never going to do anything, though. Russ doesn't really target them all that much.
Yeah, this is more of a blocking move, in my opinion. I think they're going to want him on the blocking end for Russell Wilson for his help, and so Russell Wilson can run all over the defenses. So, in my opinion, this is not a bad move. He's going to make $6 million literally just blocking for Russell Wilson, in my opinion. So, not bad for me.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I do kind of feel bad for Chris Carson, though, because this would have definitely helped him out. But now, in my opinion, he's probably gone in Seattle. You got anything on that, even though that's not necessarily part of the video because he hasn't signed yet?
Yeah, I think he's going to – I think it would have been impacted a little bit more with the Aaron Jones news because that was kind of like a domino effect with Aaron Jones now signing with the Packers. Now I think Chris Carson's going to move elsewhere. I think that opens up a lot more teams for him.
Yeah, I agree. So the next guy up here, again, another kicker, but this is really good news because I don't know if you follow anyone who's a Cardinals fan on Twitter, but they hated Zane Gonzalez. They were like cursing him up and down. Now they get Matt Prater, who's just, I would say not necessarily like Hall of Fame kicker, but like a pretty legendary kicker, at least in my lifetime. He's very good. So 2 years contract for Matt Prater, who's 36 years old now. Oh my God, he's been in the league for 14 years. What are you thinking about this? You think this is a good move?
Well, I didn't even know he was in the league for 14 years, so that's new information for me. I thought it was shorter, but same thing. They needed a kicker. I mean, we saw it all over Twitter with him hating Gonzalez, so we've seen the missed field goals by him, and that boost up Kyler Murray, in my opinion, a little bit now. So not bad for me.
Yeah. You brought this up before we started recording. The next guy, Kyle Long. I didn't even see this, to be honest with you, or I think I did see it, and it just didn't register in my brain. Kyle Long, unretires. He was retired. Yeah. Now he's back, 32 years old, signs a 1-year contract worth up to $5 million. He retired. He has a change of heart, it says, but you don't know why he had a change of heart because he wants a ring for the Kansas City Chiefs he's on. Patrick Mahomes needs people on the offensive line. They cut their 2 best players. They bring in Tooney, I believe his last name is. Now they get Kyle Long. This is huge. What do you think? This
is a great move for him. They needed more help with cutting Eric Fisher. So, in my opinion, this is a great move for Patrick Mahomes. They needed a good veteran offensive guy on this team. I like this move a lot for him.
Yeah, so do I. I think the Chiefs should be looking to get a wide receiver, but I don't know if they really have enough money to pay a guy like Will Fuller or something.
Right.
So, next guy up here, Solomon Thomas, headed to the Raiders, 1-year deal, $5 million. I mean, the Raiders got rid of their whole offensive line, so now I guess they just want defensive line. To me, this is like, doesn't mean too much to me. The Raiders defense is all right. This just helps them out a decent amount.
Yeah, it just helps them out on the defensive end for a little bit. I think that's an underrated contract. I think $5 million is cheap for Solomon Thomas because we see in the caliber player he can be with the upside. So I don't mind that signing at all. It's cheap. Why? I mean, it's a why not deal in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. The next one is pretty big in my opinion. I was surprised he was this cheap, to be honest with you. Hassan Reddick signs a 1-year deal with the Panthers. $6 million. Now, I don't know. Do you think the Panthers are planning to get Watson, or do you think they're just thinking maybe they could do something this year? Because Hassan Reddick, they should be signing for more than 1 year if they're trying to do something.
I mean, I don't think the Panthers are going to get him. I don't think Deshaun Watson wants to play there, in my opinion. I mean, they're going to want Deshaun Watson is going to play where he wants to play. He's that type of player, in my opinion. He's going to pick and choose where he wants, and he's not. I don't think he'll pick the Panthers, even if they try to go get him.
Okay, that makes sense. Next up, this news to me was pretty big, even though it's like a player that not too many people talk about. Marlon Mack of the
Yeah,
Colts signs back. I mean, Jonathan Taylor is a guy I assume you like as well. I like him a lot.
I love him,
This
dude.
kind of hurts
Yeah.
him because if you remember at the beginning of last year, Mack was the starter and they tore something in his leg and then was out for the rest of the season. I don't think Marlon Mack will become the starter, but we're not going to be seeing like a 70% split in JT's favor, I think, because Mack is just, I mean, he rushed or scrimmage had 1,000 yards in 2018 and 2019. So he's not like some type of bum they brought back. So I'm a little bit worried about Jonathan Taylor, at least fantasy wise. What do you think?
So wasn't it his ACL that tore
It's either ACL or
or
meniscus.
MCL or something like that? Something with the CL. Some.
Yeah. So I don't know. You a little bit worried?
I mean, I'm worried because if you're going with the best ball aspect of it, where are you going to draft Jonathan Taylor now with Marlon Mack back? Because I mean, he's going upwards of the 4th round, 3rd round type of caliber, looking at him as an RB1. So now with Marlon Mack back, that scares me because guys are going to overpay now for both these guys. In my opinion, I think they're going to overpay for Jonathan Taylor. So I can see this happening where they want Jonathan Taylor as a 1st and 2nd round or 2nd down back, and then Marlon Mack as a 3rd round kind of power back, in my opinion, or flip it with Marlon Mack as a 1st down back and then bring in Jonathan Taylor. So I can see them doing a split. I don't think it's going to be drastically a huge split, but I think it's going to be like goal line touches are going to be key. Marlon Mack's going to go push in for the end zone. So that's where I'm scared for Jonathan Taylor, basically, is how many touchdowns now is Jonathan Taylor going to get? He get basically – I don't like it, honestly. So what about you, man?
Yeah, I don't love it either. I mean, I was doing best ball draft and Jonathan Taylor was the first pick in one of the ones I was doing.
Yeah, like
so that's just how much people love him. I mean, he was hot in the playoffs against the Bills. He was hot like deep into the season. But now with Mac, it's like I honestly would wait till preseason or like hopefully there's preseason so you can actually see what they're gonna do, because otherwise you're just gonna feel like a dumbass if you draft Jonathan Taylor and he's getting vultured constantly by Marlon Mack, even though JT's the bigger guy. So it's a tough situation. Next guy up here is former Chargers linebacker Denzel Perryman is heading east, going to the Panthers on a 2-year deal. I mean, the Chargers just, their defense literally gets hurt every single year. If they draft someone, that guy will probably die on the way to the, to go like grab the jersey or something. He's always hurt. They're always all hurt. So I like this move though for the Panthers. It doesn't say exactly how much money they paid him on the website that we're using, but it's an overall good move, obviously, for the Panthers because they need to build more on that defense as well.
Yeah, they need it badly on their end, but they need to fix the offense first, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the offense is pretty good. They brought in some offensive linemen, but I think they need a true wide receiver too, because Mike Williams seems like he is the guy, and then like the next game, this guy just has no idea how to play football. So
that's on. Yeah, you never know with him. So, well, and he gets hurt a lot. So
yeah, definitely. So the next guy up here, we're gonna skip over Rodney Hudson, obviously, because we just talked about that, how they trade him. Jayon Brown is returning to the Titans on a 1-year deal. Yeah, like you said, this is like a no news in reality. Like he's just okay. Next guy up here, the Raiders brought in Denzel Good, but again, it's like they got rid of all their good guys. Now they're bringing in a guy named Good. So I don't know.
Trying to replace him, dude.
Yeah, I know, but like Good is not these other guys that they had, not Rodney Hudson. So it's like
trying to replace good with good. That's what they're trying to do, and it ain't gonna happen.
Exactly. Next guy up, probably the most overhyped player every year going into fantasy is AJ Green, heading to the Cardinals, 1-year contract. People will do the mental gymnastics of talking themselves into drafting him this year. People want to play him because the Cardinals are a good offense. I think at DFS, people are going to be like, oh, it's a sneaky AJ Green week. And I just don't think that'll happen. Do you think AJ Green still has any gas in the tank, or do you think it's over?
So that's where I'm kind of wondering myself is I can see this move as good and bad. I like that he's now with Kyler Murray. That's going to where my opinion kind of changed because we know Kyler Murray is a viable quarterback. When Joe Burrow went down, I mean, it was a dumpster fire for AJ Green. But when Joe Burrow was there, he still had flashes of hope. That's where I'm looking at. I think when he's going to line up as the number 2 receiver now behind Hopkins, that's going to be another boosted move for him facing the number 2 cornerbacks on other teams now. I don't mind this deal. It's cheap. And again, he's a veteran. He's going to be a veteran guy. I wonder what's going to happen with Fitzgerald, because they have already said that 2 or 3 teams have looked at him if he doesn't go back to the Cardinals. So that's what I'm wondering also, because I think, like I said, maybe in fantasy wise, I like him as an underrated move. I like him as a kind of a buy low candidate at the end of the season, or not the end of the season, like the end of the draft. So I can view him as a sneaky option, maybe in fantasy wise. And DFS, we need to see how he's going to do by week. But fantasy wise and best ball drafts, I don't mind taking a shot at him at the late rounds. It's cheap. It's a why not move. So I can see the good and the bad. The bad though is we know his injuries are definitely there. We know he can easily get hit and get injured in the legs. We've seen it before. We've seen him just lay on the field. I mean, so there's good and bad to it. I'm looking more on the bright side of this move. What about you, man?
Yeah, see, I don't really see too much good in AJ Green, but then again, like you said, but the problem was when Burrow was throwing him the ball, he was just dropping it all the time, and it was like I don't really see this being good. But then if Fitz leaves, then the door to me is wide open because Fitz just sucks in a bunch of targets. They're saying that
Yeah,
he wants to go to the Bucks. He probably wants a ring. I guess that's why
obviously.
he would leave.
Yeah.
I'd never imagine him leaving, but I guess he's pissed off. He'll go hang out with Bruce Arians or something. But AJ Green, he used to be really good. That's the issue, is I feel like there could be just one more year where he's really good. But again, you said it, the injuries are very concerning.
Yeah.
He literally gets turf toe like every year.
I'll be interested to see how he does with Kyler Murray, though. That's what I'm interested in.
Yeah, I mean, Kyler just brings a whole new aspect to AJ Green. He's never had a guy like Kyler who can just run around and create so much time for you to get open. Like, that's why DeAndre Hopkins was just, he was good with Watson, but obviously he's even more dangerous. Well, maybe he was more dangerous with Watson, but compared to the guys he had originally in Houston, like Osweiler and shit, like those guys are nothing compared to
We're not
Watson.
talking about him.
Definitely not. So next guy up here, Adam Butler, staying in the division. He signs with the Dolphins. I mean, sure, he's fine, right? He was a Patriots guy, signed him 2 years, $9.5 million. But this isn't what as a Dolphins fan, I don't want any more defense. We're traded fucking Shaq Lawson for another guy. It's like, what are we doing here? We don't need more defense. Get a receiver, but no, we get Adam Butler. So what do you think about Butler, if you know anything about him?
I mean, it's your hometown team. If he's an all right move, in my opinion. But I mean, what are the Dolphins going to do this season?
Yeah, I mean, I hope good, but with the Patriots making all these moves, I just hope that it's one of those where everyone's saying, "Oh, Bill Belichick can do whatever he wants; he's just this good," and then reality, all these guys just stink. That's what I hope.
Yeah.
So next guy, speaking of the Patriots are re-signing Ted Karras, 1 year, $4 million deal. Nothing special, just an offensive lineman. Hopefully he can protect Cam, but Cam needs protection from himself because this guy literally has no idea. It didn't look like he had an arm last year, full noodle arm.
Literally.
So next guy up here, the Rams. This was funny. Did you see this? Where the Lions guy, he was on what team was he on? He was on the Rams. And he said, "Oh, Stafford's better than Goff," and then he gets traded to the Lions, Michael Brockers, in exchange for a 7th round pick. I mean, he's definitely worth more than a 7th round pick. But it's even funnier because he said that he likes Stafford better than Goff, and then he gets traded back to Goff. So what do you think about that?
He's been good on the defense, but like I said, I'm surprised it was only for a 7th round. I figured it would be 4th or 5th.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
I'm surprised on how that was a buy low guy, in my opinion. I think that will boost up their defense a lot, though, in my opinion.
Yeah, it will. The Lions need more defense. They could be looking to draft it with their first pick early on in the draft. So I think it helps them out. Next guy up here, the Raiders. This is signing I like. I'm not too sure how much you've watched John Brown in your life because you're not like a Dolphins fan or something where you see John Brown all the time on the Bills. But John Brown, 1 year deal worth $5.5 million to the Raiders. I love this. John Brown to me is amazing. He's a guy I wanted to the Dolphins. He's had 1,000 yards twice in a season, once in Arizona, once in Buffalo. Very good player, and I could really see him tearing it up with Carr if the offensive line obviously can block.
I played him a lot in DFS on the Bills, so I know who you're talking about. Trust me, I do. He's speedy, but the thing is the injuries is what scares me. I think that's why he got paid cheaply, because of those injuries. Because you need his speed to be 100%, and when he's not 100%, he's definitely not running those routes for you. So, in my opinion, this is a great deal as long as he can stay healthy for the Raiders. That's the key for me. And I don't know how he's going to do with Derek Carr, but not having Josh Allen, because that's a big difference, obviously. Huge.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think Do you think that this limits the Raiders from bringing in a guy like Juju Smith-Schuster or Will Fuller? Do you think now, just because it was only worth $5.5 million, do you think they're gonna bring him in, or Juju
Uh,
or Fuller?
I hope so because they definitely need somebody. They definitely
Yeah,
do.
they do. I mean, they drafted Henry Ruggs in the first round. He was the first receiver off the board, and the guy stunk. So
I mean, Braylon Edwards did better than him, in my opinion.
probably, I mean, literally Nelson Aguilar, who's a guy that people judged for
Yeah,
not being able to catch anything, literally shined on the team when Ruggs did
literally.
nothing.
Yeah. And like I said, Edwards did a lot better fantasy wise than Henry Ruggs. So
Yeah.
yeah, at least he flashed some upside.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, Ruggs is just really fast. You just got to hope that Carr sees him when he's just not open half the time. So,
Yeah.
next guy up here, Trent Williams resigns with the 49ers. Obviously, 6 years, $138 million. To me, that is, that's the league record for
Yeah.
offensive linemen. And I was about to say, that seems way too high. Makes sense. I mean, the guy's really good, but they need him because they like to run the ball a lot. And if you don't have a good offensive line, you're not going to be able to let just Raheem Mostert, some random guy who's not even all that good, run for 1,000 yards, or literally anyone in that on that running back core back there could run for 1,000 yards. So do you like this signing, or do you think 138 million might be a little?
I mean, look how much fucking Dak signed for.
Yeah, well, he's a quarterback. This
I
I guess so.
mean, just saying. I mean, Trent Williams, he's a great guy. I like him on this offense. Offensive linemen are definitely quality. So it's a big signing for him. He deserves the contract, in my opinion. I like this move.
Agreed. So now we're on to March 16th. So 2 days ago, or yesterday, maybe depending on when you're watching this, William Jackson, one of the top quarterbacks on the market, signs with the Washington football team, 3 years, $42 million, 26 million guaranteed. Personally, I honestly didn't even know who the hell William Jackson was because I don't really pay too much attention on defense, but I looked more into it. It is a good signing. The football team defense is already good. Just bolstering it up even more with
Yeah.
some good corners is very helpful. What do you think?
They're trying to push for a playoff run. So I like this signing. I think that adds to their defense depth. So they need him on this team.
Yeah, I mean, they made the playoffs last year, but then again, literally any team from the NFC East could have fallen ass backwards into the playoffs.
Literally.
They should have. I wish they beat the Bucks, man. That's so tough. That was such a good game.
It was, dude. It was.
So next move here, my Miami Dolphins.
Yeah.
We need a wide receiver. We need I don't know, literally anything, but no, Jacoby Brissett. Hopefully this guy can catch the ball. Indianapolis Colts quarterback, formerly of the Patriots. Maybe that's why he signed, because Brian Flores knows him. I don't know. I mean, he's a fine backup. What do you think?
So as I'm typing, I'm looking to see how many receiving yards he had last year because I remember he caught a couple. Remember when he
Did
caught
he
those,
actually?
he caught those couple TDs, dude. Do you not remember him?
Wow, I didn't even think about that. I know I do. I watched the games because they put him in like when ball set would just launch it.
So as I'm looking,
Did he
yeah.
actually? I don't even remember.
So he had for where am I looking? 17 rushing yards, 3 TDs.
Oh, okay, so that's good. Now we got a new running back.
So yeah, so like I said, well, he ran the ball. So kid you not, he ran the ball. It's kind of like a flick pass, So I mean, it could work out, man. It can work out.
I mean, anything's better than whoever our third string guy was, who I don't even know. So next guy up here, this is actually a very good signing in my opinion. The Jaguars bring in Marvin Jones, 2 years. To me, this is severely underpaid for a guy of Marvin Jones' caliber. Obviously injury prone. $14.5 million deal, 2 years, 9.2 guaranteed. What do you think about Marvin Jones?
It's underrated, man. I mean, him with Laviska. I mean, this is going to be a good offense, I think. I wonder what's going to happen to Gardner Minshew, though, because they're getting a few calls for him, who he was a quality quarterback that nobody saw coming. So, but Marvin Jones, he's been a key leader on the Lions. Definitely a great player when he's not injured. I know that's easy to say, but I mean, Marvin Jones, he's been a pretty good, he's been good. I mean, he's flashed upside. I like this signing. I think it's cheap. I think he's going to mentor all those young guys on this team, like a Colin Johnson, like those guys like that, like Laviska. I think this is a good signing overall, man.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think with Lawrence, like Marvin Jones might be better than DJ Chark if we're talking fantasy wise, and you can get him much later because he's much older. Lawrence could easily depend on him. The thing is, like you said, he's normally hurt. He'll probably play like 12 games this year, but to be honest with you, in DFS, he seems like a cheap flex because he's going to be on the Jaguars, who presumably will stink, but the offense should be pretty good.
Yeah.
And like you said with Gardner, where do you think he ends up going? Do you have any teams in mind? Because I'd
So
like to see him be quarterback of like the Niners or something.
yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens to him because we obviously know the Texans, like we're about to talk about, they have already brought in the QB. Brissett went to the Dolphins. Colts have Wentz. Eagles have Hurts. So, I mean, there's a lot of young QBs around this league. I mean, we saw the Taysom Hill deal that I'm sure we'll talk about at some point. I mean, that was a crazy deal. So, I don't know where he's going to go. Maybe the Panthers. In my opinion, I wonder what teams called about him because I've been trying to figure that out, but I haven't seen anything much yet.
Yeah, no, I haven't found it either. I was looking for it earlier. Maybe it's out now. Gardner, I follow him on Instagram. He's literally always working out. He always posts videos of him working out and stuff, and he's very good, at least in my opinion. So I hope he starts somewhere because it would suck if he's just behind Trevor Lawrence his whole life when he really deserves a shot to get it done somewhere.
Right.
So next guy up here, if you ever find anything on Minshew, if
I
that's
haven't
what you're
found
looking
it.
up, just
Yeah.
let me know. Okay.
Yeah,
So the
or anybody else.
Texans bring in Tyrod Taylor, like you said, $12.5 million. Tyrod, I mean, is this the plan of Watson's gone? Like, what do you think? Do you think now they're like, fuck it, like Watson's going to be gone. Now we need Ty God Taylor to save us? Or do you think this is maybe he'll back up Watson? Because Watson got alleged to do something I didn't fully read into it. He did something bad, allegedly. Again, you never
Something like
really,
that. There's always
never,
something, dude.
you never really know, to be honest with you, if it's real, fake. He says it's fake. He didn't do it. I don't know who to believe, but what I do know is that Watson wants to leave. I think Watson's ready to literally sit out half the fucking season, the whole season. He doesn't care. He wants to leave. What I read today is that Houston is now officially ready to trade him. They were originally not even picking up the phone. Teams were calling. They'd leave him on voicemail. Now they're answering the phone. You're going to have to pay everything to get Watson. So Tyrod Taylor does make sense. Do you like Tyrod anymore? Do you think he's kind of used up at this point?
I mean, I think he was trying to save his life by getting out of the Chargers because he got hit by a doctor and punctured his lung. So I think he was trying to basically leave San Diego. I mean, or Los Angeles. My bad, not San Diego anymore. Every time. So trying to save his life. He's been out in Texans land where he's going to get hit a ton and get injured once again. So if this is the plan, good luck. I mean, are they trying to replace him as a running QB like Watson? Because it's not the same caliber of a running.
This is a team that needs Gardner Minshew.
Yeah, I mean, or just go sign Taysom Hill for over 100 million somehow. But
we'll get into that a little later.
Yeah.
The way that deals work in the NFL are just completely fraudulent because he's never going to see that money, but it's just funny. So next guy up here.
Yeah.
This is a team that also could use Gardner Minshew, but instead they sign the ginger quarterback. Andy Dalton joins the Bears. The Bears fans probably shit themselves. They see quarterback signs and they're thinking, oh man, it's Russell Wilson. No, slap in the face. It's Andy Dalton, 1 year, $10 million. To me, this also means just like the Patriots, they might have to trade up to get Mac Jones. I don't know what they're going to do. Their future is fucked. You purposely drafted Trubisky over Watson, over Mahomes. So now you just have to sit with it. You have an elite defense. Your team sucks, though, because you don't have a quarterback. So what do you think about Dalton? Do you think there's anything left in the tank, or do you think this is just kind of?
I think this is kind of a deal where maybe he's going to try to mentor Mitch. I mean, maybe.
I mean, I don't think they're going to bring Mitch back, though. He's gone as of right now.
That's what I'm wondering, too, is if what their plan is with Mitch, because, I mean, I can see it where he's better than Mike Glennon. I'll give you that. I'd rather have Andy Dalton behind the line than Mike Glennon. But the main guy this hurts is Allen Robertson, who got franchise tagged. So that kills all your Allen Robertson shares in fantasy football, in my opinion. I don't like it. I was hoping they would get Russell Wilson, and then you would have Allen Robertson. It would be a huge combo. But now you have Andy Dalton and Allen Robertson, who is just not looking good. So in fantasy drafts, good luck drafting Allen Robertson now with confidence. Good luck. I mean, if you want to take a flyer on him, again, good luck. It just hurts.
It's funny because if you look at a list of his quarterbacks for
awful, dude,
Allen Robinson, it's like Blake Bortles, Nick Foles. Nick Foles is still there. Mitch Trubisky. I mean, I think Nick Foles is better than Dalton. I don't know what they're thinking. Just play.
I would imagine also, yeah. Then who was the Penn State quarterback that he had? Trace McClory or whatever? Or
I don't even know. Ben DiNucci? Maybe? No, I don't know.
Oh
I
my
don't know.
god! Wait,
Ben DiNucci for Dallas.
where'd
I
you
don't know
get that?
I don't know. It's just a random name off the top of my head.
He's from Dallas. That's the Dallas QB. You remember?
Yeah, no, I know.
Is that why?
Yeah, because we were talking about Andy Dalton. He was on
I was
Dallas.
like,
I have no
wait.
idea. This is a shit show for Allen Robinson. Apparently, a lot of people are saying they're going to tag. They already tagged him, obviously, but they're going to trade him. If they
I
don't
hope
trade
so.
him, he was probably just going to
He's gonna sit
just
out, dude.
do nothing because I have him. I've drafted him a bunch of best ball drafts, just assuming that he gets traded or assuming they bring in someone. But I'm gonna be pissed if I have him on
I
like
hope
half my
so.
teams,
Yeah.
and he just does nothing. But then again, he's done everything with all these bums, so
He
it's
still gets
entirely
catches.
possible that he tears
Yeah.
it up. Yeah. So next guy up here, the Giants. This is a very interesting move because
Yeah.
John Ross was a top 10 pick. When was that? 2017, I'd say 2016.
Yeah. Yeah.
$2.5 million deal with the Giants. Now looking like they're gonna add Kenny Golladay. This is really good. John Ross, really fast, but hasn't done anything in his NFL career. Do you like John Ross? Do you think this is a worthy deal here? Probably. It's only 1 year.
It's cheap. I mean, again, this is a prove it deal where if he can have a good season with a guy like Daniel Jones, you can definitely go to him and he'll pick up another option somewhere else, in my opinion. So it'll be interesting to see what happens to him. If he can do well, like I said, I'll see him move elsewhere next year. So I just wonder how he's going to do.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he might be done in his NFL career legitimately if he doesn't do anything here because he has never shown anything special. He's been in the league for like 4 years. So next guy up here, the standoff is over. The Giants and defensive lineman signed Leonard Williams.
The heck?
3-year deal. Leonard Fournette's on my mind because he has not been signed yet. $63 million deal for Leonard Williams. Seems like an overpay, but like he's by far the best player on their defense. It's not even close.
I mean, he's good for them. I think anywhere else though, he wouldn't have bought and paid this money. I think he got overpaid.
I agree, but who else are they going to pay? So
Literally nobody. So
yeah. So next guy up here, the Browns bring in defensive end tackle McKinley. 1 year, $4 million deal. I actually like this move. The Browns, their defense kept getting banged up, and the issue in the playoffs was that when your guys get hurt and you don't have any good depth, you're pretty much fucked. So you like McKinley here?
I think this is an underrated signing for him. I think this will boost the defense up once again.
Yeah, I like this one. Again, this is a move that happened a while ago. The Raiders have released center Rodney Hudson, but they didn't actually release him. It was a bit of a tease right there. The Bengals added their secondary. They bring in defensive back Mike Hilton. That's like a nobody.
No. Next
up, the Jaguars. This was surprising to me.
Yeah.
Leaving the Seahawks, Jaguars sign Shaquille Griffin, 3-year deal, $45 million. Now, what happens to his brother? Probably not going to be in Seattle anymore. Maybe he signs with the Jaguars on a cheap deal. Shaquille Griffin is pretty good, but I mean that Seattle defense was just nothing. And then they kind of turned it on at the end of the season, but it wasn't enough at all. So, what do you think of this move? Very interesting.
I think this is a guy where he was good on the Seahawks, but it was hard to see him be good because of how bad that defense was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's where I imagine him being basically a star on this defense. I think he's going to be a top guy on this defense for sure on the Jaguars. I think you'll be able to see how good he is on this defense.
Yeah. And like I said before, the Jaguars are like one of the youngest teams on defense. So adding a guy, I mean, I understand Shaquille Griffin's not like fucking has been in the league for like 10 years or something, but he's been in the league for a decent amount of time and he could help mentor those guys. And the Jaguars might legitimately be good in like 2 years. Like really
give
good,
it time.
I think so. Next guy up, the Jags again. They were on a killing spree over here. They reworked offensive linemen, bringing in Jihad Ward. To be honest with you, I have no idea who this guy is.
Neither do I.
Next up, the Patriots. This is where everything got really crazy. The Patriots added Smith, and then they added Hunter Henry, 3 years, $37.5 million, $25 million guaranteed. Now everyone's talking about the Gronk and Hernandez type of bring it back. I mean, what is this though? Like Henry and Geneve, they're both injury prone. So what do you expect? You've got 2 guys so that you can get 16 games out of 1.
Yeah, that's what they're going to try to do. I think Jonnu is going to be more the blocking guy, and Hunter Henry is going to be kind of the athletic sort of guy on this offense. I mean, I would like this move if only Cam Newton wasn't quarterback. That's my only concern. As from a fantasy perspective, I'd rather have Hunter Henry, to be honest with you, because I know he has upside, even though I know Jonnu Smith can definitely get you those hard knock like yards. So I'll be interested to see how they work this out with Cam Newton, but we'll go from there.
Yeah, these are both those guys are best ball guys, like because they're gonna have their big games, right? Where Cam throws them a touch. Because Cam was feeding Greg Olsen in the past in Carolina, but now when you have two guys and your offense is the 31st ranked in pass play percentage, like how does this all add up? I mean, they brought in we'll talk about it later. Kendrick Bourne, they bring in Nelson Aguilar. Like how do all these guys get targets?
They still have Edelman also for now.
Yeah.
For now.
Yeah, I feel bad for Edelman. He's just literally just chronically injured. But he has like 4 Super Bowls, so who cares? Next one up here. The Broncos are keeping Von Miller around after all that stuff happened with Von Miller, allegedly. You never know. He got his 2021 option. They keep him. I mean, I don't know. I thought he was gone, to be honest with you. What do you think?
I'm surprised he wasn't gone also. I'm surprised. This helps the Broncos, but then again, they need their offense to be picked up. So it is what it is.
Without having a quarterback, I mean, Locke is. What do you think about Locke? Because personally, I was very big on the Locke bandwagon this year, thinking he'd be good. But then after like 2 games, I just hopped right off that bandwagon. I said, "Oh, this guy's he's nothing special." Because some games he literally looks like one of the better quarterbacks. He'll look like Mahomes, and then the next week he looks like he's Stevie Wonder in the pocket. So I don't know.
So I mean, I guess that's why Deshaun Watson's looking there. So I think it didn't help Drew Lock though that he didn't have Cortland Sutton, and now Tim Patrick's gone. So this offense is literally just a drowning hole. So
yeah. So let's hope the Broncos are able to do something. I mean, they need Von Miller if they want to try to beat Patrick Mahomes. But then again, Patrick Mahomes just got a revitalized offensive line for like nothing. So next guy up here, we are on to Monday. I already talked a bit about some of these guys on video. Fitzpatrick jumping from the AFC East to the NFC East. It would have been, in my opinion, the best move would have been him going to the Patriots, because then he would have played on every AFC East team. Dolphins, Bills, Jets, then the Patriots. That would have been crazy. He signs with the Washington football team. Contract $10 million, could be up to $12 million, 1-year deal with Washington. Now, there's 2 ways to look at this. There's one way that Fitzpatrick can lead them to the playoffs and be very good, but then there's the other issue where Fitzpatrick may just be too good for them to, and then they miss the playoffs, but then they can't draft their new quarterback that they actually want. So what kind of side are you on here with this?
It's an interesting side, because part of me wishes that Dwayne Haskins was still here so Fitzpatrick could mentor him and kind of boost him up. That's what I'm big on, is guys mentoring other guys, because Fitzpatrick is literally one of the best quarterbacks you can learn from. So he was that guy basically on that team. So I'm looking at it wise, fantasy wise, this boosts up a lot of people, but on the downside is what's going to happen next year after he's gone. So we'll see what happens, man.
Yeah, I mean, they signed Heineke 2 years, $8 million, but it's like Heineke's not the guy for the future either. So
he's an older quarterback.
Yeah, it's tough. I don't know. So let's just hope Fitzpatrick does good, for the sake of that. He's very fun to watch. Next guy, Dalvin Thompson's contract with the Vikings, 2 years, $22 million, $20 million guaranteed, which to me, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But that's an okay move. Nothing super special.
Nothing to talk about really with him.
Next one, this one is pretty big. The Bengals replaced Carl Lawson with Trey Hendrickson, but Carl Lawson went to the Jets. That's probably later on here, but that's a big move, I think, for the Jets defense.
Yeah, they definitely need somebody on defense, and this is the move they're going to make. They're going to try to make him the key guy. So, I mean, it's $60 million is a big deal, but it is what it is.
All right, next up here, this was also big news, because I don't think it'll be on here, but you talked about it before. So Taysom Hill gets 4-year, $140 million deal, which is just fake, because that's the deal he got, but he only is going to get paid like $20 million, and then they're going to cut him next year. So
yeah,
I don't know. Jameis gets $12 million, which to me makes no sense. Why is Jameis getting less than Taysom Hill? I don't know. Jameis to me is the guy. What do you make of the Saints quarterback situation?
So Sean Payton already came out and said that they're going to battle it out in training camp. But the thing is, how much can Taysom Hill play quarterback? We know he can, but can he do it for the whole entire game for the all season? There's no way. There's absolutely no way.
Yeah, because I think he's one of those guys, like, he plays like 6 games. The defense is going to be able to read the guy like a book. He's not that accurate. I mean, he's okay when like Michael Thomas is standing 4 feet in front of him. I mean, any quarterback can do that. Jameis is just way more fun for fantasy too, because he might throw 30 touchdowns again, and Maybe this time only throw 15 interceptions instead of another 30. So
Yeah, let's hope.
all right, next one here. This was interesting. The Titans kind of messed up in my opinion. They should have just put the 5th-year option on him last year, but he sucked so much. He was literally terrible until this year. So the Jets sign him for a $45 million deal. That's pretty good, I think, for Corey Davis. Maybe a slight overpay, but Nelson Aguilar got more money technically, so I don't think it's that bad for the Jets. What do you think about the Jets, and who do you think their quarterback is, to be honest?
Yeah, so the big news is who's going to be throwing to Corey Davis, in my opinion, because he's going to be the number one guy on the team. We know that good and well that he's going to be the guy on the wide receiver aspect of this team because they don't have Robbie Anderson anymore. So we know he's been on the Panthers. We know that. So who else is going to step in for the Jets? I mean, we saw all this last year. Who I don't even know who the number one guy was on this offense.
Jamison Crowder, and then they drafted Mims, but Mims hasn't
So it was
shown
mainly
much, but he was also injured.
Yeah, so it was Jamison Crowder, who we know he had good games with Sam Darnold. But my deal is, again, is it going to be Sam Darnold throwing the ball to him? That's the biggest question because he's a young guy who has upside as long as he's not injured. Kind of similar to Marvin Jones, kind of the younger version, in my opinion. So it's not a bad move. I like it. Just depends on who's throwing the ball to him.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see because I think we won't see Darnold get traded until draft day if he ends up getting traded.
I don't think so either.
All right, so the Titans, who just got rid of Corey Davis, end up signing Bud Dupree, multiple years, $16.5 million. What do you think about Bud Dupree? Is he washed, or do you think he's still good?
I think he's still good. I think he is.
I think he's good as well. This is a pretty cheap deal. The Titans' defense was kind of selling him out last year. I think they shouldn't have left Corey Davis, obviously, but I guess they got Bud Dupree to play defense, obviously, for them. This is an all right move. Nothing super special, in my opinion. Next thing up here, we talked about it before. You talked about how Justin Herbert needed.
But I thought Dupree signed with the Titans.
He did. I said the Titans, didn't I?
Oh, I thought you said the Jets. I was like, wait, sorry. I was like,
no, he signed with the Titans. Yeah.
I was like, wait, sorry. Continue.
No, that was my bad. I probably said the Jets, to be honest with you. So Bud Dupree again signs with the Titans just to make sure. Premier pass rusher, $16.5 million. It says multi-year deal. I could probably Google it, but it was probably 3 to 4 years.
I think it was 4. Yeah.
4 years. Okay. I like this move for the Titans. Their defense is lacking. This is a big piece to their defense. But again, I don't know. I mean, when it's this cheap, you're always just going to say it's worth it. So next guy up here, you talked about it earlier. Justin Herbert gets protection from Matt Fellier. 3-year, $21 million contract. This guy is nothing special, but anything
Herbert needs it.
To protect Herbert is definitely key. I mean, you don't want your franchise guy dying behind the offensive line. So I like that.
Yeah, he needs it.
Next guy up here. This was when the Patriots were just going absolutely ham early on in the day. Henry Anderson, 1 year, two-year deal, 1 year on a 2-year deal, $7 million deal worth up to $11 million. Nothing special out of Henry Anderson, but they lost one of their defensive guys to the Dolphins. So it makes kind of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Next one up here was, again, another kind of nothing deal. The Titans and Danico Autry agreed to a 3-year, $21.5 million deal. Nothing super special there, unless you have anything to add.
Nothing really, man.
All right. Carlos Hyde goes to the Jaguars. I'm not sure. I mean, do you like James Robinson, or do you think he's just like a 1-year wonder?
So I've heard about this already, like on the radio. I've been listening to the Fantasy Sports, like just kind of them talking about it. So Carlos Hyde, he's been behind good and bad offensive lines, but we've seen the upside of him. We know he's a powerhouse guy, but that hurts James Robinson because I've seen James Robinson getting drafted in the first round. Like we were saying, he's been drafted literally in the first round, fantasy drafts. Like his hype is there, like a Jonathan Taylor. Yeah. So I think he's good. I think he was underrated last year. I think he's better than people think. But the deal is Carlos Hyde is more of kind of the vulture guy, kind of like a Maryland Matt, Jonathan Taylor scheme of things. I think that's just how it's going to be with them. I think Hyde, he always seems to find his way. I mean, we've seen him have 1,000-yard rushing seasons, though. So I think the upside's still there. But do I think he's an every down back? No, I think James Robinson's going to be the every down back. But I don't think Carlos Hyde will definitely vulture some TDs here and there.
Yeah, I mean, last year Robinson was literally playing 90% of the snaps. So obviously it's going to cut into it. But Yeah, I think this might be the best case scenario though, technically, because then the Jags could have brought in like, what if they brought in Chris Carson? Then James
Yeah.
Robinson's screwed, or maybe now they won't draft someone because they brought in Carlos Hyde. So it's kind of the best case scenario. But like you said, I don't be surprised if Carlos Hyde scores 6 touchdowns or something. Like if this offense is really humming, Hyde is such a big back compared to James Robinson. And James Robinson was so dominant because there was no one behind him. I still think he'll be good in fantasy. I
Yeah.
doubt he'll be a first
Not
round pick now, like
yeah,
you're saying.
not
People
first
were
round.
hyping him
Yeah.
up for that. I've seen him going more in the second, third round now. I think he's just going to be a third round guy because the hype will be there, but then people talk themselves into the Carlos Hyde vulture scenario, which
It
they
happened.
should because it will
happened.
happen.
Yeah. So I could see him as now RB2, in my opinion. Kind of a flex RB2 option.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think Hyde, if James Robinson was to go down, Hyde would legitimately be
He's
pretty
a good handcuff. He's a great handcuff. If you want to get James Robinson and Carlos Hyde on your team, I wouldn't mind that one bit at all.
Yeah, because we, like you said, Hyde's been a guy that's gotten 1,000 yards, so he's definitely a solid running back. And he played with Urban Meyer in college, I believe, at OSU.
He did.
And he was on the Jags 2 years ago, so he knows.
He's been on the Jags before,
Jags front office. So, next move here, Patriots added Kendrick Bourne. What do you think about Kendrick Bourne? Because I don't think Kendrick Bourne's any good, but I mean, he does score touchdowns. But then again, you just brought in Janu Smith, Hunter Henry. Do you like this move, or is this kind of nonsense for $22.5 million?
There's so many mouths to feed now. For like a fantasy perspective, who do you trust when you have Edelman, Jonu Smith, Hunter Henry, all these guys? Literally, who do you trust on this team to get you those passes, especially coming from Cam Newton? So he's a kind of a flyer, in my opinion, kind of a punt option. About DFS wise, a punt meaning like if you want to throw him at a cheap salary, hoping he gets that long TD like he has before, because we've seen that happen before where he can just bust off an 80-yard TD, and there he goes, already paying off that price tag from a DFS perspective on DraftKings and stuff. So he's kind of a punt option, kind of a buy low candidate in the late rounds on probably a waiver wire hit here and there. So there's too many mouths to feed, but then again, he can have his upside here and there.
Yeah, I agree. It also depends. We talked about it earlier. If Edelman's gone, like if he's out for a majority of the year, then yeah, Bourne might be somewhat useful. But if they're not really passing, I don't know. I just feel like the Patriots, like you said, there's way too many mouths to feed, which is something that's like sounds dumb when you listen to some people say it, but it really makes sense in this situation because the Patriots have so many guys and they have a quarterback, like you said, that isn't the great. He's not Cam Newton from 20. When did he almost win MVP? Or when did he win MVP? 2015, 2014, something like that. He's just not that guy anymore.
He's just getting beat up in training camp now by little kids. So getting yelled at.
At least he's not Jarrett Stidham. At least we got that going.
Yeah.
So the next guy up here, the Broncos bring in. So they lost. Did they lose AJ Darby? Is that his name? Not AJ Darby. AJ. What's his name? Boye, AJ Boye. They lost him. So they're bringing in Ronald Darby. I just mixed their names together. $30 million contract worth $19.5 million. They brought back Von Miller, like we said earlier. This is a pretty good move by the Broncos, they also tagged Justin Simmons. So they actually have a pretty solid defense.
The defense is there. It's legit, in my opinion. It's sneaky good. But then again, what's going to happen on the offense?
Yeah, and then what happens when you play against the Chiefs twice a year? Mahomes will just spank you up a little. So
yeah, defense can't do it all.
Exactly. Next one was Gronk back to the Bucks. I mean, they literally tweeted, I swear, 30 seconds, like literally 30 minutes before this, they're like, Gronk's checking out all these teams, and then he's back with the Bucks. This was obviously going to happen. Do you like Gronk for fantasy? Because Gronk he literally sucked for like the first 8 weeks, and then he started getting really good the last couple weeks of the season, and then in the Super Bowl, obviously, he scored 2 touchdowns.
So in my mind, fantasy-wise, he's not a guy I'm really targeting, in my opinion. I think he's a guy where he has upside, yes. The name value is definitely there. That's why people draft him so high, because they know the name and they know it's Tom Brady. But then again, he has Cameron Brate behind him, who looked good here and there. There's a lot of mouths to feed now with Chris Godwin healthy coming into this season and Mike Evans healthy coming into this season. It's hard to judge how Gronk is going to do because he was overhyped last year. If we saw him in last year, he was getting drafted in the 3rd and 4th rounds, thinking he's going to be Gronk.
In some leagues, he was really getting drafted way too high because of name value, like you said.
Name value
Gronk,
is there.
So.
That's why, because it's Robert Gronkowski. Like, it is him. But then again, like I said, he didn't look good. That's why he's only getting 1 year for $10 million when he could have been paid so much higher if he did well. So, in my opinion, he's just a guy where he's gonna get a flyer every now and then, but then again, he's not the starter on my league every day.
Yeah, I agree. Next move from the Patriots, and then we'll go to actually we'll just go to Leonard Floyd. Did not leave the Rams. Re-signed with the Rams, 4 years, $64 million. Linebacker. This is a good move. The Rams defense the Rams to me are the team I want to win besides the Dolphins to win the Super Bowl because I want to see Stafford get a ring. Do you
Yeah.
like the Rams a lot now with Stafford?
So I figured we would talk about it. So in my mind, Matthew Stafford being the quarterback now is going to boost up this whole entire offense. I think this is going to do well for a guy like Cooper Kupp and a guy like Robert Woods, they now have a viable quarterback. They don't have Jared Goff, who we don't know what we're going to get out of him. So, and yeah, I mean, Matthew Stafford can literally play with no bones in his body, nothing functioning, but he'll still throw better passes than Jared Goff, in my opinion. So, which he literally did last year. So, if we remember that, how many ribs did he crack? Like what? Broken ribs, a broken back.
He had a broken back one year, played like 4 games with literally a broken back. Had broken ribs. He's literally crazy.
Yeah, so I think this boosts up this entire offense. I'll be wanting to draft Cooper Kupp and the 6th and 7th rounds if I can. I'm definitely going to feature him in best ball drafts if I can get him at a good price point. I like him and Robert Woods. I think this is going to be great for them on the offensive wise. I think Tyler Higbee is going to see a boost up because they know Matthew Stafford loves throwing to the tight end. So, in my opinion, I think this looks good for them. I think their defense is legit. They're going to make a run, in my opinion. So,
yeah, I completely agree. I really like the Rams, and the defense is very good. Aaron Donald. Now they bring back Leonard Floyd. Very good move. So, again, back to the Patriots. Nelson Aguilar. This might be funny because if you heard this like last year, you would have thought this was the worst signing ever. But for some reason, Nelson Aguilar is actually good now. I don't know what happened. What are your thoughts on Aguilar? Do you think he's worth $13 million a year, or
no?
I don't either. But I mean, he was before they added. Oh, actually, no, he's still the best receiver on the team right now. If Edelman doesn't play, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, Edelman doesn't play, but then again, like we keep saying, too many mouths to feed, and you have Cam Newton at a quarterback.
Yep,
I don't trust him. I'm not drafting him at all.
Yeah, neither am I. Next one, the Vegas Raiders got Yannick Ngakoue out of the Jaguars, 2 years, $26 million. Very good signing for the Raiders. But again, when your defense is really good, that's good. But if fucking Derek Carr is going to be getting assaulted every single play, you can't win a game by your defense. Your defense isn't going to score you 3 touchdowns. You need the offense to at least do something. So I don't know. Seems like a pretty good signing.
Seems like the Broncos all over it again. Similar situation. They need offense, but this defense is definitely going to be bolstered up. So,
yeah, I like the move. Again, we talked about this before. The Chargers adding another player, all-pro center Corey Linsley out of Green Bay. 2 years, $26 million. I'm surprised he didn't get more money, to be honest with you. He was the premier center in free agency. Yeah. Very good for Herbert, obviously. What are your thoughts on the Chargers going forward? Do you think they're a playoff team potentially this year, or maybe they're like a year or two out?
I think they're a year or two out, in my opinion. I think they need a couple more years to get those draft picks and get a couple more moves here and there. And now at the tight end position, do you trust Donald Parham? I mean, I don't at all. So,
yeah, the praying Pitts falls their way in the draft, but I mean, he's going to be like a top 5 pick. They're pick 13, I believe. So
yeah, he's going to be a top 5 pick easily. Imagine if he goes to the Patriots.
Yeah, if the Patriots traded up and they picked him, I'd kill myself. I don't know, 3 guys, 3 tight ends. That'd be hilarious. So next move here, this is a very good move. Browns, John Johnson. I mean, not like the hottest commodity out there, but the Browns are just adding more depth to that defense. $33.75 million. Do you like this move?
I think he's underrated. I think that's a great signing for him. They needed that. They need to booster this defense up. I mean, this defense is going to be legit. I know I keep saying it about these defenses here and there, but this defense is going to look good. And I'm surprised he went that low, in my opinion. I mean, he's not the top of the top corners or safeties, but then again, they need him.
Yeah, they definitely do. Next guy up here. This was a crazy move again when we first saw it. 5-year, $80 million to Joe Tooney. I believe it's how you say his name. It's not spelled like that, but that's how you say it. To the Chiefs, $80 million. They had to do this. Mahomes was getting destroyed in the Super Bowl. We talked about it before when they signed the other offensive lineman. Do you think the Chiefs will make the Super Bowl 3 years in a row, or do you think that maybe this is their off year?
So, in my opinion, I think they needed more wide receiver help. I don't
agree.
think I don't think tendering Brian Pringle's the answer. So I don't think that's the answer at all. So, in my opinion, it'll be interesting to see what happens.
I agree. It definitely will be interesting. I hope that I don't know. I mean, Hardman has always been like the guy with the potential. They're letting go of Watkins. Unless they pay Will Fuller, do they even have enough money to pay Will Fuller
That's
now?
what I'm
Probably
saying. I don't
not.
think they have enough money.
Let's hope they draft. Maybe they can draft someone at their pick, but they should also just draft defense. I don't know. I have no idea. So next guy up here again, the Patriots when they're on their spending spree. Matthew Judon, in my opinion, one of the more underrated players. Gets paid though, $56 million for your contract out of Baltimore. Very good move for the Patriots. The defense was terrible. It seems like they might trade Stephon Gilmore, but I think they should be fine without him. This scares me as a Dolphins fan because I don't want him to murder Tua. So what do you think?
Yeah. So I'll go ahead and like combo this with Jalen Mills also because I mean it's the next one up. So him, Judon and Jalen Mills, great signings. I mean we saw this. I kept checking my phone. I was at work, but I kept having it checked on with all the Patriots news. I couldn't believe it honestly at first because this is like I think this is the building block of it, like the first move that they made, right? The Judon move and the Mills move was like the two first ones. Yeah. So.
Oh no, it was Geneve first. Like 3 minutes in, it was Geneve, and then
yeah. So they need this defense to be up. It'll be interesting to see what they do with this defense. They're checking out. They're trying to win the Super Bowl before it's too late.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think Mills is really that good anymore, but again, he was cheap. 4 years, $24 million. So
yeah,
it's a good signing. And every time Bill signs someone, you're just going to assume they're going to be good. The Jaguars and defensive tackle Roy Robertson Harris agreed to a 3-year, $24.4 million deal. Again, just adding to the Jags defense. I mean, he's nothing special in my opinion, but just a solid player.
Right.
Next one was Jason Verret signing back with the Niners. This makes sense. I'm surprised it was only a 1-year deal, but I don't think Richard Sherman's going to be back. But the Niners need to keep that good defense because if you want to be a run team that runs the ball a lot, you need to have good defense. So
I thought he was gone, Richard Sherman.
Oh, he's gone already?
Is he officially gone?
Well, I read today that one of his teams that he wants to sign with was the Niners and then 2 other teams. But I thought he wanted out, but now maybe he wants back in. So I don't know. He's a free agent though.
So
he has not signed elsewhere.
The Saints are wanting him. Yeah, that's where I saw. The Saints are among the teams interested in Richard Sherman, and so is the Vikings. Okay. And then Richard Sherman shut down rumors of him going to Seattle. That's what I saw. He was going to go to Seattle, and they shut that down immediately. He said, no, that's not happening.
Yeah, if he went back there, I would be shocked, to be honest with you.
Same.
So next move here, this is literally a no move. The Texans bring in wide receiver kick returner Andre Roberts. Congratulations, the Texans.
Right.
Next. Nothing really special.
Next,
the Patriots, Geneve Smith. This is where it got spicy.
Yeah.
It got spicy. $50 million, $31 million guaranteed. Geneve Smith. Now, Geneve, personally, I think is very underrated tight end, but we talked about it before. You have so many guys in this offense. Which one will elevate themselves? And on a weekly basis, in my opinion, it's going to be someone different. So Geneve is a good player, but I don't know.
We talked about this beforehand. Like I keep saying over and over and over again, there's a lot of people to feed. I mean, for that contract, you need him to have a good year. So he got his money. He got paid. That's all I can say about him.
Okay. Next guy here. We're on the final 4 guys here. Romeo Okwara and the Lions are sticking together. To me, if I'm this guy, I want out of Detroit. I think I talked about this a little bit. I don't know why he would sign back with the Lions. Lions won't be good for maybe he just wanted the money, right? $39 million. I mean,
might as well.
Lions. I mean, right. No one cares if you're getting destroyed because you're on the Lions. No one else is any good, but it's a good move. I mean, they paid him pretty well. I mean, good deal for him, good deal for the team, but nothing special in my eyes.
Yeah.
Next one, nothing to do. This one doesn't even matter. Cardinals re-signed Marquise Golden. Who cares?
Yeah,
Shaq Barrett. Shaq Barrett says he's returning to Tampa, which to me is just sad, obviously, because I don't want Tom Brady to win again. His deal includes $36 million. Shaq Barrett's insane. 4-year contract, $72 million in total. I mean, what else is there to say? I don't know how they have enough money to pay all these guys, but he's literally
so good.
Amazing.
So good.
And then final move here that we're going to talk about, the Ravens signed guard Kevin Zeitler, 3 years, $22.5 million. Congratulations to the Ravens getting back. I mean, Not like he's amazing or something, but that's a pretty good deal for a solid guard.
I think he's good. I think that's good for Lamar Jackson, in my opinion. I think he's definitely underrated, in my opinion. He's not the best of the best, obviously, but he's underrated, in my opinion. He's looked good on that line. So when he was on the Browns. So I like that move a lot. That hurts the Browns a little bit more on their rushing end, but on the Ravens side, that definitely helps him out.
Yeah, to me, Lamar is. I don't think Lamar will ever, or the Ravens will ever be good unless they bring in a wide receiver. Like they will never make a deep run in the playoffs unless you bring in guys. Lamar, he's throwing it right to these guys and they're dropping it. I mean, everyone jokes about Lamar being a running back. I do it as well. Obviously, it's funny, but if you're throwing it right to a guy and it's hitting him in the hands, he's dropping it all the time. It's not Lamar's fault. So
all we can do is hope that Marquise Brown worked on it this season. That's all we can do.
I don't know. I'm hoping Antonio Brown goes there so they have the cousin connection there. That'd be kind of funny.
Wait, so they'll have Des Bryant and Marquise Brown and Antonio Brown
and Antonio Brown. That'd be hilarious.
I mean,
the triple Bs.
I mean, why not?
Yeah, exactly. So you got anything else to add here? Because we just finished 3 days worth of free agency. Something probably, I doubt anything happened, to be honest with you.
Let me refresh and I can double check. I don't think anything else happened. I haven't seen anything pop up on my phone really.
Yeah, no, just the last news is Van Noy. I refreshed. So yeah, nothing new. So you want to say anything before we get out of here?
So, like I said, there's a lot of rumors going around. So definitely be on the lookout for rumors. There's going to be more rumors about Deshaun Watson, Sam Darnold. There's going to be draft day moves. So just keep on the lookout for more news. I think the main building blocks are kind of fallen. There's not going to be any more big news, I don't think, really happening unless a trade breaks out and we see it catch up ourselves. And like I said, there's not much more news to be out there. I think this is going to be the downfall now of the days. What about you?
Yeah. Stuff has to go down soon. There's going to be rumors every day of stuff happening. Like you're going to hear Russell Wilson is going to get traded to 50 teams the next day, like next couple of days. I don't think either quarterback will be moved until if they move for like another month, I would say, like before the draft, like or during the draft. That would be crazy, but wouldn't surprise me if like Watson moved during like when the Jets are up. I'm talking like maybe then he moves. Because once the draft start, what'd you say?
The main guys left is Will Fuller and Kenny Galladay, in my opinion, and Xavier Rhodes. Those are the main ones left that we need to see what happens with them.
Yeah, Fuller. I mean, the Packers wanted to bring him in last year, and then the Texans didn't trade him, if you remember that. Yeah. And then he's linked to the Packers again, but the Packers never pay wide receivers, right? They have Devontae Adams. They never bring anyone in. So I don't know. I'm interested to see where Fuller goes because he was on a tear and he wasn't getting hurt, but it's because he was on PEDs, right?
Yeah, that's why he was so good, dude. That's why he had the career year at the beginning of the season. That's why I was like, what happened to Will Fuller? He's so good. And look what happened. He got busted.
Yeah, I mean, maybe his doctor can find him stuff that won't get him busted, and he'll be very good.
I can only hope.
Yeah, exactly. So, anything else here before we get out of here?
No, man, it was fun talking to you about this free agency signing. I'm sure we're gonna get linked up again and talk more about free agencies or even NFL. So I'm pretty excited about this video, and I can't wait to join you once again, man.
Yeah, guys, make sure you guys check out Cody. The link will be down. Everything that he has, so make sure you guys check that out. Check out his website as well. That should be linked down below. It's pretty cool. I checked it out. Very impressive considering you actually made it. If that's pretty cool. I cannot design a website for my life, so congratulations.
Yeah, man, it's a new website.
Yeah, so make sure you guys check that out. I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching. You got anything else to say again here, or are we just dipping?
No, man, we're dipping. We're out of here.
All right, we out. Thank you guys again. Goodbye.
Thank you.